Hello and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV with me, Meoni. Today we're looking at a pretty rare mount, or at least I've not seen anyone with this yet, that I actually purchased from the market board from someone else over on the Cerberus server, so thank you for the listing on there, for around 70-something million gil, which sounds like a lot, and well, it is. However, in retrospect, I don't know the rarity of this, as it's a mount that I didn't even realize was in the game. So we knew that there was 2 Island Sanctuary mounts yet to be obtained, one of which was obviously from the Vegetal vouchers, which, as we said last time, was around 30-ish or so, about 29 weeks of you doing Felicita's favors, which obviously are from the Felicita's Furball. So what he wants you to do is craft certain things and ship them, and then you get vouchers which you can then exchange for the mounts, right? But what I didn't realize, other than the Island Adenium whistle, there's also the Island Peerifool. Peerifool. I was going to say Peerifool, but I think it's Peerifool. And this is actually, and I didn't know this until I read up about this, from the Sanctuary material containers, which actually cost 10 of your Felicitas tokens, so they're a lot easier to actually purchase. But the drop rate on things in this seems to be astronomical, like unbelievably astronomical. But one of the rare items is actually that Peerifool, which is kind of awesome because it doesn't say anything about mounts on the description. It says awarded to Isle Keeps who have made an outstanding contribution to the Island Sanctuary Initiative. Contains a random assortment of items including Island Sanctuary minions and furnishings. So one of the new mobile steps is likely from that, you know. We were guessing where that's from. And minions? Well, I don't see any other minions to actually collect, or at least not ones that are market tradable. So to know that that's where the mount comes from is a real surprise. So it says, this whistle emits a flighty tone that calls your island Peerifool to bear you forth like the most foolish of steeds. So the description on that makes it sound like a horse or something, which is really bizarre. And I realize this is one of the, I don't know, rarer mounts in the game at the moment. I didn't know it existed. It says, summon forth your island Peerifool. If anyone asks, it bears no relation whatsoever to a certain malicious rotting vegetable. Of course, if you have done the Hildebrand storyline, you would have seen this character, and I don't know, you might have even seen the notorious monster that's kind of similar to this in obviously Anemos, Eureka Anemos. But the island Peerifool loaded aboard a trading vessel as part of its provisions. This mandragora decided to try her luck in the open sea rather than be added to soup. As luck would have it, the tides delivered her to a desert island whose fertile soil and sunshine allowed her to attain enormous proportions. And the hidden text says, honestly, I've never seen such foolishness. A quote there of Nanamo Teamono. So immediately I'm excited to see what this looks like. I have not summoned this. I've waited for you. I just saw it. I was like, oh my goodness, someone actually got it, and that's where it's from. So this is what the mount looks like. Oh my goodness, look at it. It's adorable. We need to go into G pose. So obviously, like every other mandragora, we're sat on, you know, on its bonce. We're sat on its head and we're just chilling out there. But the detail on this is exceptional. So on the back of the mount, we've got a big fork stuck into the back of its head with a beautiful polka dot pink ribbon and the stitching on the back. And then as you look lower down on the mount, you've got, you know, the plaster covering one of its oopsies on the back of it. And it's got this kind of like stitch sort of messed up. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's absolutely brilliant. Is it worth the gil? Probably not to a lot of people, but I think this is fantastic. It's adorable. It is definitely one of the cooler mandragoras because we've had onions, we've had tomatoes, we've had all sorts of things, as you would imagine, but this one is probably one of the coolest, at least in my opinion. So things you might be questioning are what it looks like when it's flying and music. So let's go to somewhere like the Azim Steppe, nice and open, bright, hopefully, and daylight, and have a look at this. All right, here we are in the Azim Steppe, which, funnily enough, is actually a really good day here. So let's summon it up. There we go. I can't wait to look at this at night as well, because I have a feeling those eyes are going to glow and it's going to look amazing. It has its basic sort of waddle animations. And then as you start to run, it flaps around. Like all of the others. I mean, it's basically just a reskin, right? We know that, but what a reskin. I love it. And then its flight animation, if you've never seen one of these before, as it flaps its arms. As if that would actually work. And then we've got this glide animation as well, which I quite like. And there you go, from the front angle as well. It's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? It really is. Again, you know, an expensive reskin. I think a lot of people didn't realize there was even a mount from those boxes. We just sort of presumed, oh, minions from the island. Well, we've got probably all of the minions, or at least I have. What would be the purpose of buying those? It's like, oh, well, some housing items. I'm not so bothered. I'll let someone else do that. And I think everybody else kind of sort of gravitated that direction, like, there's not really a mount reward, but apparently there is. So the more you know. The music on this mount then, as no surprise, is the obviously the Island Sanctuary music, which sounds obviously like this. Yeah, I mean, everyone's heard that by now. And if you haven't, turn your music on. But yeah, I think it's really cool. I mean, it is a very expensive variant. It doesn't add anything new to the formula. It isn't like a completely different mount. But those of you who like this model or just think it's adorable are going to love this. I especially like it at night. Let's look at this with its purple eyes shining and piercing through the veil of darkness. Yeah, it's just a really nice one to add to our collection. And yeah, I think honestly 70-something million was probably a little bit cheap, considering. It'll probably come down a lot now that people know that it's from a box, and more people will probably Google it and go, oh, it's from one of those lockboxes. You know, and then you'll see more of them on the market board. So definitely try a look at this one once you can. See if you can make some gil off of people like me that want to collect it. But the reason I didn't spend my vouchers on the boxes is because I'm saving up for the one that takes like 200 Vegetal vouchers, and Felicitous Favors are like 10-to-1 ratio. So you need like 10 vouchers for one voucher, if that makes sense. One Felicitous Favor equals... Sorry, 10 Felicitous Favors equals 1 Vegetal voucher, which means if you're averaging a 70 per week, then that's 30 weeks, right? 29-ish, probably, without taking into consideration bonuses. So it's going to be likely, what, minimum 25 weeks, something like that, if you never touch the market board. Of course, people are selling those for the other mount for about 2 to 3 million each at the moment. Some people have been snapping up some that have been listed for 1 million, which is a good idea. Like, if you are not interested in this or the other Mandragora, because that's what it is, it's a pink one. The more expensive one that takes 30 weeks is a pink version of this, essentially. I mean, it looks cool from the tiny little icon image I've seen, but yeah, honestly, I think this one looks cooler. And it's from the boxes. But yeah, if you want to make some gil, definitely sell Vegetal vouchers. And you can make, you know, from 10 Felicitous tokens, that's basically 1 million or 2 million gil at the moment, which is a huge source of gil if you're wanting to save up for other things in the future, especially with Dawn Trail on the horizon. Anyway, there's just my 5 cents, but I think this mount's cool. It obviously doesn't break the mold. It's not something too crazy, but I love it. I think it's brilliant. Anyway, let me know if you've got this one or if you plan to avoid it now you've seen it. And I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. I think it's awesome. I can't wait. Fran's going to love it. Although getting Fran one of these is going to take me some time. I think she's going to start opening boxes to try and get this. As soon as she knows that this is where she gets the favorite of her two, I think she'll be opening those immediately. Anyway, see you in the next one.